You're listening to a podcast from the Finnish Football Show.
Hello, yes, welcome to the Finnish Football Show. It's great of you to join us. You may have noticed a slightly unfamiliar, well, maybe not unfamiliar, but I'm not usually the first voice you hear. But producer Mark is otherwise engaged this evening. But don't fear, he's left us with a set of instructions of exactly what to talk about, what we need to discuss, and reminded us not to swear. So yeah, it should be nice and clean for you, and hopefully we get a bit of content to warm up your ear holes. And yeah, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we honestly, this was a happy accident, but myself and my two guests of the evening, Ally Manson, hey.
Hey, everyone.
And Rasmus Junila, Moikka Rasmus.
Moro.
So the three of us are all sporting our now quite old Huuhkajat, well, Finland National Team home jerseys. But yeah, I guess we should kick off with that little news story. The Finland National Team unveiled their new jerseys just this week, home and away jerseys, somewhat inspired by the Jugend architecture that you can see around Helsinki. Thoughts, lads? What do we think? First impressions of the new home and away jerseys?
I can kick off. I actually like them. I think they were quite neat, especially the home kit was really pleasing on the eye for me. The away kit had a bunch of details in it, but I think when it was worn, it looked better than maybe in just like a singular picture of the shirt. But I think all in all, not too bad.
Yeah,
Ali, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think they've marketed it pretty well as well, with like the type of photoshops that they did on for social media. I really like the home kit as well. It just looks really fresh and clean. The away one has as Rasmus said, a lot of really nice detail. It's of course it feels more the away kit feels more similar to the previous away kit than the home kit for me. I don't know why it feels like that, because of course it's still subtle, the changes that they've made, and of course it's still done by Nike, and they don't like to push the boat out too much when it comes to international kits. They sort of have a template and stick to it. But all in all, yeah, strong 8 out of 10, I would say.
Yeah, I mean they certainly are very focal. You know, like I have to agree with you guys. The home kit, I think, is really, really special. And for fans of symmetry like myself, listen, I love the Nordic cross, but I always struggled on the jersey because, I'm a kind of symmetrical kind of guy. Do you know what I mean? So to have that nice blue stripe running right down the middle with the golden edging and the very small details in the middle there, I think that's pretty classy. And I think you're right, Rasmus. When you saw the photos come out with the various members of the various squads actually wearing the jersey with the pristine white shorts and the white socks, and the away version with the chain socks and shorts of blue that matched the away shirt, I think it really did look quite smart. So yeah, and like you say, Ali, it's a little bit of a step away from just maybe some template kits that we have had to be used to in the past. We had some really special designs recently, starting off with this jersey that we're wearing tonight for the Euros. And you mentioned the most recent away kit with the nice owl or forest detailing, whichever way you wanted to look at it. But yeah, so it's nice that Nike are now taking Team Finland seriously and allowing us to push the boat out a little bit with the designs. Yes, Al.
I think just to finish off about the kits, you always remember the kits more fondly when you do well. in them. I think there's a reason why we're wearing this shirt tonight ahead of the the under-21s, the Helmarit, the Huuhkajat. It's a really important few weeks for Finnish football internationally anyway. And I think, it's it's a shame when you buy a kit and you can only really relate it to losses and heartbreak. And so fingers crossed that in a couple of years' time, when the next kit comes out, we're able to reflect on a successful kit this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. And yeah, just one last word. I mean, I would quite happily talk about kits for hours, but producer Mark might have something to say about that. But yeah, he'll probably edit most of it out. But yeah, the last word I want to say and just touch on with you guys is the interesting fonts, that we now have for the names and the numbers on the back. Again, inspired by this Jugend architecture. You see it all over Helsinki, and you see that style of font, especially for numbers of various houses around Helsinki. So yeah, it's I think we could go as far to say this really is a Finnish jersey with a lot of thought that's gone behind it. So yeah, let's hope they fly off the shelves and put a few quid in the Paloliitto coffers, and we can get ourselves up to scratch.
Agreed, and everything you said, the details, especially the font you mentioned, that's pretty cool. I think that's a rare thing all over the world. That's like a special thing to have a detail like that in a shirt. So it's nice that Nike let us do that. So it's overall, I think it's a good one, and I haven't gotten any shirt after this one, so might have to get the new one.
That's it. Yeah, and if the kit man at Paloliitto is listening to the podcast, I'm a size large, and we can let you know what size everyone else is. If you've got any line about, we're your men. Right. Listen, moving swiftly on, because producer Mark, as I said, he's given us what we need to talk about, and I've already gone off piste with my own topic straight off the bat. But yeah, so we're going to chat about the Helmarit. They've been in action recently in their Nations League campaign. They obviously have the Women's Euro coming up very soon. So yeah, we'll talk over the most recent two matches and just have a little chat about how they got on. We've got the Huuhkajat World Cup qualifiers coming up, the two home games in Helsinki against some might argue slightly stronger opposition. So we can have a look at that. And then we'll have a little bit of a Veikkausliiga update. Who my co-hosts are itching to talk about and can't wait for Veikkausliiga to get cracking again after this international break. So, first of all, Helmarit. We had two games for the Helmarit. There was, first of all, Belarus versus Finland. Was this played in Italy again, I believe, this match? It was a behind closed doors match. And Yle chose not to broadcast this, but you could watch the game from YouTube. And I managed to actually catch up with a few of the highlights, but Finland came away 3-0 winners, which was a really, really impressive scoreline. Opened the scoring nice and early through Sani Fransi, and then the absolute legend, who is Linda Sällström, added 2 in the second half. So, guys, did you see the game? Did you see the goals? What can you tell us about Finland, Belarus?
I can take this one, Rasmus, very shortly. I watched the highlights and I mean, I think, you summed it up quite well, Keke, but it was a really good performance. Belarus are not a strong team at all, but I also don't think we should ever take that for granted either. I think 3-0 win away from home in international football, I don't care who you are. I think the girls can take a lot of heart from that. And yeah, I mean, they obviously look pretty good in the table. I mean, we'll come on to the Serbia game, I'm sure, in a minute. But yeah, 3-0 away from home, clean sheet. You can't really argue with that, can you?
No, that's it. I mean, it was a really sort of a nice lineup. We had Anna Tamminen in goal. Anna Tamminen has waited for a chance. She's played quite a few games, but Titi Korpela is I don't think she would be too upset if we said she's maturing. So Anna Taminen has come in and she took the number one spot for this game. And then it was like I think fair to say that it was a 4-3-2-1 formation, like it looks like the old Christmas tree when you put it out on the paper, the same as we were so fond of under Mixel for the men's team. But yeah, we had Maria Roth, Nora Herum, Johanna Tynilä and Emma Koivisto in defence. Moving into midfield, Evelina Summanen, Una Siren, Katarina Kossola, and then up the top a three of Ria Erling, Sunny Francie, and right at the top of the Christmas tree was Lilly Haltonen. Haltonen didn't manage to stay on for the full game, was subbed on 37 minutes, must have been a knock or something like that, but she was replaced by Heidi Kolonen, who managed to provide the assist for the second goal. So yeah, great performance, like you say, Ali, away from home, 3-0 win, and the girls probably must have taken some confidence away with them for the next match. So yeah, the next match, Olympic Stadium in Helsinki. Serbia were the visitors, and I saw, like, I can't remember the exact number, but there was something like 9,000 tickets sold. Was it something like that? So a really impressive crowd over there. Lineup changed slightly. We had a change of goalkeeper with Anna Koivunen, who's been doing really good things in the Dam Allsvenskan. So yeah, no problems there. She took her place in goal. Then we had Nea Lettola in a back three with Johanna Tynilä and Maria Roth again in a back three. And then moving into the midfield, we had a five of Una Siren, Olga Aattinen, Ria Erling, Evelina Summanen, and Katarina Kossola. Up front with a two up front, Sunny Francie and Linda Sellstrom. So, decent enough, strong side. I watched the game live, managed to go home from work to watch the game live, and for pretty much the whole game, Finland were probing, attacking, patient in their build-up, trying to break down the Serbian back line. And yeah, they were pretty good for the 1-0 scoreline right up until a few minutes from the end. I mean, it took us a while, but Nea Lettola scored on 71 minutes. But as I say, it wasn't. It was coming all that time. They were looking for that opening all the time. And yeah, a nice ball from Evelina Summanen. Sunny Francie sort of jumped for the ball, just missed her header, and Nea Lettola arrived sort of late at the far post and managed to nod it past the Serbian keeper. And yeah, I thought Finland were really good for that. But as I said, little while later, about 4 or 5 minutes before the end, disaster struck.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I think Serbia proved that they're a pretty decent team as well. I do think, yeah, like you said, Keke, that Finland were worthy of at least one goal. Probing the whole game, having a few shots without really creating like too many like clear cut chances. And I think, yeah, when you only score one goal, no matter whether you've been in control or not, you never know. And particularly, as I said, this Serbia team, I don't know much about them, but their recent results over the last couple of years do sort of suggest that they've got a little bit about them. So yeah, it's a real shame that we weren't able to hold on. If only because I think Serbia coming into the game, they would have taken a point, and maybe they were even playing for a point. They weren't showing as much ambition to get forward and create as much as Finland. So yeah, again, you can really take positives from both games. 4 points from both games, but I think, yeah, there's lots of positives to take away from it, but it's still probably a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think the Nations League group was a good test for Finland. considering the upcoming Euros. The level of opponent was okay. Finland didn't manage to beat Serbia either time at home or away, and they drew with Belarus, but got 3 wins in a group and finished second, so that's okay. I don't think the group in the Euros is too tough with Iceland, Norway, and Switzerland in it. So I think Finland are heading for a very, very interesting summer in the women's Euros. And one thing from the Serbia game and both of the games, maybe the centre-back partnership between Joanna Tynnilä and Maria Ruth is maybe a bit of a concern, considering Helmarit are missing Natalia Kuikka, and that is a big miss if she can't play in the Euros. I don't know the exact situation that if she has a chance to play, but I'm sure pretty much everyone hope that she does.
Yeah, I think you're right. And what you said, Ali, just before with maybe Serbia were playing for the draw. I mean, that point that they gained, you should have seen them at the end of the game. They went absolutely bananas celebrating on the pitch. And it was that point that sort of sealed their win at the top of the group. So yeah, that game, Serbia Finland, was pretty much for top of the group. So yeah, it was. But yeah, as you say, right, Finland finished second in that Nations League group, and it's no shame, 11 points from the 6 games. So yeah, it's a good stepping stone for them going into the Euros. But I think everyone listening to this and everyone who watches the Helmarit will certainly be joining you in hoping that Natalia Kuikka is back for kickoff of the Euros, because she certainly is a huge miss. Like you say, it's Iceland, Norway, and Switzerland in the Euros for the Helmarit, and the first game is on Wednesday, the 2nd of July, and that is the Iceland game, 7 p.m. kickoff in Finland, I believe. So if we can move on, boys, and start to talk about the Huuhkajat, the other international that's happening soon. We got the new squad list that was released. I think the Jakob Friis gave his press conference and released the squad list, his second squad list since his tenure began with Finland. And yeah, the big news story from that, I guess, there's even more news to come after that now, but the big news story from that was that Roman Eremenko was recalled to the Huuhkajat squad after I'm not sure how many. Finland was still playing in Adidas last time Roma was called to the national team. So yeah, that was the huge news that kind of came out of that squad announcement. And then just a couple of days later, it was revealed that Roma is in fact injured and won't be joining up with the squad. So what was the big takeaway from that, guys? The news that Eremenko was recalled to the Finland squad?
I think it was lingering on for a couple of weeks. It was rumored that it was maybe going to happen, and unfortunately he missed a couple of weeks due to injury anyway. So then it was maybe a bit of a surprise that he was called up while he had missed a couple of games due to injuries. So maybe that wasn't that big of a surprise that he was injured for a while before even, but it would have been great to see him. And at the start of the season, I think in a few games especially, he's been special in Veikkausliiga. When he's on, he's just the best player in the league, and I think he could play in loads of leagues still in some capacity, and even in international football. I think he would have something to bring in tough matches against quality opponents, would it be from the start or the last 30-20 minutes or something. But I don't think Jakob Friis would have even entertained the thought of calling him up if he didn't consider him being to be frank, better than the some of our midfield options anyway.
Yeah, I think when Gristan played Huuhkajat at the Bolt Arena maybe like 6-7 weeks ago, He was the best player on the pitch by a country mile. And of course, everyone in the stands are sort of like, half sort of urging him to do it, to do well, because he is a fan favorite. Of course, the Huuhkajat fans were maybe a bit annoyed it was happening against them, but even so, like when a player gets into his mid-30s and is still able to boss a game, like he definitely did in that game, it's really impressive, and I think you got to give credit where credit's due, and I think just following on from that, I think it's a really good sign that Jakob Friis is selecting players on performance and current performance, not just on reputation. Because I think we'd started to get a little bit used to just the same names being picked, even if they weren't playing either for their club or playing well, or just not even playing. So I think this is actually probably a pretty good marker for other Finnish players who are maybe on the fringes of the squad, and they go, okay, like this new manager is prepared to bring people back into the fold. That gives me a chance. And I think, that can only be a good thing for the squad moving forward, because, as I said, it's been a couple of years of same faces, whether they deserve it or not. And I can imagine that some of the fringe players or players that are on, the edge of the squad could have got a bit disheartened. So maybe moving forward, that's how he's going to manage, and I think it can only be a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shame that Roma won't make it. It would have been super exciting to see him back in a Finland shirt. But hey, let's see if he can shake off the niggle and make it for the next squad. I mean, apart from Roma Neremenko, there were some familiar faces, mostly familiar faces in the Huuhkajat squad, but also some other guys. So I'll just quickly run through the squad, and we can chat about anyone you guys want to chat about. I'm sure there's one or two that Rade might want to chat about. But if I start with the goalkeepers, obviously Lukas Radetski, Jesse Joronen, and Viljami Sinisalo has had a really great season at Celtic. He comes into the squad, pretty much the regular three keepers at the, from the most recent squads. Into defence, we have Robert Ivanov, Ville Tikkanen of HJK, Arttu Hoskonen, Juhani Pikkarainen comes back, Miro Tenho, Jere Uronen, Ilmari Niskanen has had a recall after not a great deal of football for Exeter, but he's back. Nikolai Alho, and then into midfield we have Matti Peltola, Glenn Kamara, Tommy Jyri, Matthias Siltanen, the young guy who's at Djurgårdens, Kain Kaarinen, and Anssi Suhonen, which is really nice to see. And the forwards are Oliver Antman, Benjamin Kjellman, Joo Pojanpalo, Teemu Pukki, Tikku Fredrik Jensen, Robin Lod, and Oni Valakari comes back in. So is there any names there, guys, that really set your world on fire, or anyone you want to talk about? For me, it's quite nice to see Oni Valakari. He's been doing some good things in MLS. I know in his most recent call-up, he used the stage to make some weird comments about some influencers or some stuff. But all I'm pretty worried about is whether he's able to cross the football or whatever. And I think he's been doing that okay. So nice to see Oni Valakari back in. But is there anyone you guys want to have a special mention for?
Maybe the obvious one would be the 17-year-old Matias Siltanen from Djurgården that made the move from KuPS. He was one of the players of last year's Veikkausliiga, and making the move at such a young age. The money that KuPS received him was, in terms of the world of football, not a significant amount of money, but in terms of Finnish football, it was almost a record amount of money. At least for such a young player, it was, I think, 1.3 million or something along those lines. Players that have left from Finland, I think there's only one or two bigger fees that has been received by a Finnish club. So big move to Djurgården. Hasn't played a whole lot yet, but started a few games, a few big games even in the league. Djurgården are not doing so great at the moment. There's a lot of rumors around the Finnish players over there, Miro Tenho and Santeri Haarala, for example, are rumored to be sent back on loan to Finland, maybe. So Matias Siltanen obviously is a long-term prospect over there in Sweden and has a Finnish coach at the moment. If there's not going to be some sort of change there, that would be a bit strange if Jani Honkavaara lost his place at Djurgården. But yeah, Matias Siltanen, I think, should play. We're not losing anything by playing him against the Netherlands or Poland. I think just stick him in the starting lineup, maybe even just let him try out the international stage and impress and get even more hype about him and let his market value grow and stuff like that. Appearances in the national team often are very important related to those things.
Would you say he's physically ready?
Physically, not. He's a small, tiny boy, but he's a hell of a footballer. I think, yeah, he makes up for what he lacks in physicality in terms of his skill, tenacity, and even sort of aggressiveness. What I've seen from him playing as a teenager in pro football in Finland. So I think he would obviously struggle in bits, but I'm quite confident that he would also impress in some bits.
Yeah, and I think what's quite nice about that point is a bit of symmetry about the physicality thing there with some of the Netherlands players as well, that they chuck them in whether they're physically ready or not. And, over time, whether they're 16, 17, 18, 19, if they're technically good, they play. And so I think it's really interesting that potentially his first game is going to be against the Netherlands. Fingers crossed that it actually happens. Because, he clearly, has got the technique and, the physicality should come the more games he plays.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, these guys, if they're good enough, they're old enough, right? So let's hope we see him. I mean, there's some familiar names there, and I think hopefully Siltanen gets a starting berth or at least gets some minutes under his belt. But these are two games that are going to be a test for Huuhkajat. I mean, I've been having a look at the FIFA rankings that are so beloved by producer Mark, so I couldn't let this episode go without some FIFA rankings. So I made my way over to the FIFA website just to, again, another tribute to Mark. And we've got Netherlands who are sitting currently sixth in the FIFA rankings, which is that's not too bad at all. We've got Poland who are way down in 34th, which actually quite surprised me. And then I had to scroll down a little bit further to find ourselves, Finland, who are currently occupying 69th spot in the FIFA World Rankings. So there's quite a gulf between us. And when I had a little look at the recent form of both teams, actually, Netherlands and Poland, Netherlands have been doing okay. They had a pretty okay Nations League. They lost that double-headed quarterfinal, I think it was, against Spain. But they finished runner-up in their Nations League group, runner-up to Germany. And when you look across their squad, I mean, it is absolutely littered with superstars in all the best leagues all over Europe. I mean, Mark Flecken, the goalkeeper, has just signed for Lukas Radetzky's Bayer Leverkusen. Could that be a signal to Luke? I mean, he's been an absolute legend at Leverkusen, but they seem to want a new goalie either to chase him for that spot or to take over. So Flecken is a great goalkeeper, as people who watch the Premier League can attest to. Obviously, you got Virgil van Dijk, Denzel Dumfries, Nathan Ake, Jeremy Frimpong, Mickey van der Ven. I mean, they're just absolute monsters, all of them. Frankie de Jong of Barcelona in midfield. Memphis Depay, Weghorst of Ajax up front, Cody Gakpo, and Justin Kluivert, again, who scored a few goals for Bournemouth in the Premier League. So, it's good. I think we can say it's going to be a tough test. So I don't know, guys. How do you see us lining up? What do you think the game plan is? Is it damage limitation from the off, or how do we see it playing out?
I think it's going to be an interesting one in terms of how Jakob Friis is going to set us up for such a top quality opponent. We've seen a couple of different opponents in his first couple of games. At Malta, we were mostly this, but we still managed to win against, was it Slovenia?
Lithuania,
yeah, the second match, yeah. I think we were better in that one, but we lost to or drew that match due to a quality strike from a Lithuanian fella who plays in the Serie A. I think we might have spoken about it at the time that that's the sort of quality we lack in our squad totally. So that's one of the reasons they are considering bringing the likes of Roman Eremenko back, because he could do something like that, strike the ball to go from 25 yards, something. But yeah, in terms of setting up for the Netherlands, I think we might see something a bit different, maybe in terms of shape. I think he has used in the past a back three at times. It would be interesting to see if we go for just a back four, a 4-3-3. If we are going to set up against the Netherlands in a 4-3-3, the system they played for decades, I think that's going to be a bit of a tough one to match them position for position, sort of. So I think we have to do something maybe a bit different in terms of how we set it up. But yeah, it will be interesting, and I think it's a good match because there's absolutely no pressure on us to get anything. Basically from the Netherlands. So interesting to see how we will do. And I think they might be a bit sleepy after a long season for most of them. These games cannot be that important for them, maybe. So maybe we can surprise them with something. But yeah.
that's
I'm liking this positive outlook.
Yeah, but I think that last point, Rasmus, is a really good one, because I think some of those players are actually, they're not going off on their holiday. They're not their mind isn't on the beach. I think some of them are going to the Club World Cup, this new ridiculous FIFA concoction that's happening out over in the States. So yeah, and they're not going to want to get injured for that. So mentally, I think, yeah, these two games are not going to be top of their list. They're going to be expecting to turn up and win and not have to break a sweat. You know, Frankie de Jong will play in the pivot if he does even play. I know sometimes he doesn't actually start because of his injury record, and Ronald Koeman is just a bit of a baffling manager, to be honest. But that's a whole different other podcast, I think. So I think that, yes, it's scary when you list off the players, like, you know, Frimpong's about to come to the Premier League if he hasn't already been confirmed at Liverpool. He's about to sign for them. Reinders at AC Milan as well. He's about to sign for Man City. So, like, there's a lot of these players who are really world class, but these aren't the games that I get stressed about or worried about, because I actually think this group of players have it in them to be competitive against the big teams. It's in the games where the pressure is on and when they should win. That's when the issues happen. So yeah, fingers crossed we can, as long as we can see like a clear plan from Friis and that the players are committed, then I think that's all we can really ask for in this game.
Yeah, we went totally against England when we played them twice in the last qualification campaign. So I think that's right. The players are up for these sorts of matches to prove themselves against the elite level of opponents. So I'm not too worried about that. If we lose, so what? Just trying to keep it as respectful as a scoreline as we can, and if we can surprise them with something, then that's a total bonus. But yeah, not expecting a whole lot. Against Poland, maybe a bit different. They have also tremendous amounts of quality, but not so much like the absolute star level of quality, because the Dutch squad, that is just ridiculous. Like when you consider they have almost 2 squads of players, or 2 starting 11s of players at the very elite level. Of Poland isn't that tough of an opponent. Obviously, a very good one as well, but I think against Poland, I'm expecting maybe a bit more, as in terms of the result.
Yeah, I mean, I had a look at Poland as well, Ruddy, and I think it might be fair to say they're not the powerhouse they once were. They might be going through a bit of a transition. They've got a few guys who are quite mature in years, and yeah, their most recent Nations League campaign, they even managed to come behind our old mate Scotland, finishing bottom of their group. So yeah, I mean, it's they beat Lithuania in our group 1-0 previously. They beat Malta 2-0. So, you know, for a team like Poland, these are not massive scores. And I had a look through their squad list as well. And while there's while there are some names you'd recognise, and there's some players at some really fantastic clubs, there's no one that actually sort of leaps off the page and sort of scares the life out of you, other than, you know, if Lewandowski plays. I don't know what he's up to, if he's going to play or not. But you know, he's the sort of been the main man for Poland for so many years. But yeah, I mean, obviously they've got Matty Cash from the Premier League at Aston Villa. There's a lot of guys playing across Italy. You've got Nicola Zalewski at Inter. Yeah, there's some Kaminski at Wolfsburg. So yeah, there's some decent players at some decent clubs, but you know, we're at home for both of these games, and I think it, out of the 2 matches, it would probably be the Poland game that Fries would target to be maybe a little bit more expansive, maybe a little bit more adventurous to try and get that win. But yeah, I think over the piece, if we manage to come out of this with 1 point, 3 points, you know, how are we feeling? You know, like
I was just saying, just say a point, just say a point. But you know, like, I mean, why not? You know, particularly the Poland game. I think, yeah, you're right to sort of say that this is not the Poland team of 6-8 years ago. Of course, like Lewandowski's been around for donkey's years. You know, they've had players in the past like Piontek and Milik as well. But I think particularly in midfield right now, the Polish are certainly lacking strength in, across the midfield, whereas maybe in previous years they had been pretty solid there. So I think that's where you got to target them. So yeah, maybe it might be worth, you know, depending on how the Netherlands game is going, bringing fresh legs on in the Netherlands game in midfield, just to try to, you know, give the guys, whoever starts, a bit of a rest, because I think that Poland game, yeah, it's not beyond the realms of possibilities that we can get at least a point. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out, because obviously these games are coming up this week. We've got the Netherlands home game is on Saturday, and that's a 9:45 kickoff Helsinki time. So yeah, if could be a late one for whoever's going. And then on Tuesday, same again, 9:45 in the evening kickoff at home to Poland. Rasmus.
Yeah, 2 big games, and I think there's no sense in being negative about them. Just go in and see what we can do against tough opponents of the likes of the Dutch and Poland. against Poland, was a good point from Ali. They're not maybe the team they were a few years ago, and maybe they're a bit of an aging team. And in terms of their midfield, one guy who has been stable for them for many years, Zielinski, he's not played a good season at Inter and has been injured a lot, and even recently has been injured. So maybe their midfield is a bit weaker than usual. I think 4 points would be something amazing for Huuhkajat at this stage against those teams. Maybe that would be a draw against the Netherlands, standing on our heads and defending, maybe scoring one set piece or a counter attack or something. And maybe against Poland, we have a chance of performing strongly. I think we still need to be the underdog in the game, let them have the ball. But if we can defend well and then be productive and decisive with the ball in attacking, maybe utilizing our wingers a bit more, as now we have some of them. Oliver Antman, after a tremendous season in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands, so maybe him could be somebody who can shine against this level of opponent.
Alec.
Yeah, I'll just have whatever Rasmus is having, really. Yeah, I mean, I think, jokes aside, I think why not be positive though? I think, yeah, the Netherlands game, it is a free hit. These big games often are, but I think when you're quite early into a managerial tenure, try something. If you've got an idea, try it out. It might even surprise these very laid back Dutch players who are either thinking about going on holiday or they're having to be dragged over to America to play in a competition that they don't want to play in. So, why not?
Yeah, because that sort of win, that would be a famous win in Finnish football history. Never mind the Nations League or anything. Beating Dutch at home at the Olympic Stadium, that would be big. Like we haven't done that maybe ever. Last time I saw us playing against the Dutch, that was a grim, like 10 or 15 years ago, must have been. But yeah, that would be huge to get something from them. Let's say something from either game would be huge, and huge for Jakob Friis as well, gaining confidence and the trust of the Finnish people.
Yeah, I'm expecting good vibes from the Dutch fans as well. I mean, they always travel really, really well and in high numbers. So, it should be quite a colourful evening. I don't know what the weather is going to look like. I mean, I'm going to both games on Saturday and Tuesday, but I'm definitely looking forward to, seeing the Finnish fans in full voice and also the Dutch fans in full voice as well. It should be a good atmosphere.
Nice, yeah. Well, that's brilliant, Al, and cheers, Rasmus. We'll obviously we'll report back. We'll keep our eye on Ali while he's at both of the games, and as soon as these are done, we'll be back on here celebrating those famous victories. But as we've got such a positive vibe, and we're still on international football, it's time to move into the under-21 European Championships, which the Pikkuhuuhkajat are off to. At least 3 games to be played in Slovakia. The group stage against Netherlands again, Ukraine and Denmark. So that kicks off on Thursday, the 12th of June, over in Slovakia. And our first game, Finland under-21s versus Netherlands under-21s. Obviously, we spoke quickly there about Santeri Harjala, who's leapfrogged the under-21s and gone into the men's team. But yeah, what can you tell us, Rade? Are you looking forward to this particular tournament? Do you think this edition of the Pikkuhuuhkajat has a chance to progress out of the group stage?
I think they have a chance. Yeah, at the under-21 level, we have quite a strong team. It's totally different to the men's level and tournaments. Let's just remind ourselves of that. But I think we have a chance of doing something. Getting out of the group stage would be quite an achievement. I don't think we've done that in our history with the under 21s team, so that would be huge. But tough group. Netherlands obviously always a tough side. Denmark as well. Ukraine even so. I think we are the underdogs in this group, but our squad has players that play at a decent level. Some play men's football in the Veikkausliiga, the national men's top flight. So I think we have a chance. There are academy players playing for the other sides. Maybe some. There's a lot of them that play for the men's sides anywhere around the world, basically. But I think we can surprise a few in this tournament. Mika Lehkosuo, Gert Remmel and their staff has done a tremendous job, and the football they play is at times really, really impressive. They're just such a complete team at their best at how they can approach a football game in different ways, defending deeper at times pressing high. They can keep the ball. They can be quite direct at times, and they're decent from set pieces. And I think Finland might even surprise a few in the tournament in general. But yeah, tough group anyways.
Yeah, I mean we've got some players who have already made their debuts for the men's national team, and we spoke about this on the show before, whether they would stay behind, if you like, to compete at this tournament after completing the achievement of qualification. And I think it's quite nice how that's been allowed to happen. You know, it's not like Fries has come along and cherry picked all the players he wants out of this under 21 side. He's allowed them to remain there at least until this tournament is concluded. And yeah, I mean, for you, Rade, you've got a trio of Ilves players in this under 21 squad, so it's quite exciting from that perspective. But yeah, I mean, we've got some players playing, as you said, Rade, in men's football in leagues all across Europe and a little bit further away. You know, we've got Matti Peltalo's over in MLS. Luka Hyryläinen, who's in Ulm in Germany, who's playing really well. Leo Walter in midfield, who's been scoring some amazing goals for Sirius in Uppsala in Sweden. Yeah, there's some really, really exciting names across here. I mean, Juho Talvitie and Otso Liimata, they're quite exciting players up front. Topi Keskinen, Scottish Cup winner just last week or the week before with Aberdeen. He's had a Aberdeen didn't have the greatest season in the league, at least in the middle part of the campaign, but come through and won the Scottish Cup. So that's a great season for them. And Topi has done some really great things over in Scotland. Nathan Scoota as well at Dunkirk in France, who's another great player we like to keep an eye on. And yeah, when we go up to the goalkeepers, Lucas Bergström, who's in Chelsea, and Elmar Henriksson, who's at Sporting Gijón, with Roope Paunio Vesijko making up the three goalkeepers. So yeah, there's some really, really, really exciting players there. And I think I know myself, there's quite a few of my mates who quite a lot of fans who have put their lot behind the Pikkuhuuhkajat, and they're off to Slovakia to watch the three games, or at least the three games, hopefully a few more. So yeah, it'll be really, really, really interesting to see how they get on. Obviously, the opening game against Netherlands is going to be a tough test, and like you say, Rade, Ukraine and Denmark are no strangers to good football either at this age. So, but listen, if we want to be in the competition, we've got to play the best. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Anything to add, Ali?
No, I think you've covered most of them. One thing that I would say is when you go down the list of the under 21 squad, yeah, they're either playing men's football or they're attached to some really good clubs. And I think in the long term, you know, whether they stay at those clubs or not is up for debate. But I think you can't underestimate a really strong and solid foundation in your early years as a football player when you're at these sort of big clubs or successful clubs. So I think that's one thing that I think is a really positive thing for Finnish football and the future of Finnish football. And I also have to say that I think the way it's been handled of allowing these younger players to maybe not get called up to the senior squad and allow them tournament football. Again, I think maybe in 2-3 years' time, that we'll look back on this decision as a positive one and something that can really push the team in, maybe not immediately in the short term, but in 2 or 3 years' time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a really nice video that came out this week from Tim Spa via Paloliito, and he was sort of reminiscing. There was some old footage from when he was playing with Pikkuhuuhkajat in a previous edition of the under-21 Euro, I believe it was. And yes, it was interesting to have a look through the footage and see some of the names that have graduated up to the men's national team, and that's what it's all about. The pathway growing as a team together. We've seen it in other nations. You know, if this team can stay together and forge that winning mentality together and graduate up to the men's team, the future could be bright for Finland.
Yeah, certainly. There's many promising players in the squad that we've been through. One big miss, maybe even the only big miss, is a centre back, Toni Miettinen, who's not available in the squad. He would have been a starter, but he's been replaced by his last namesake, Samuli Miettinen from KuPS, and I think he'll be able to do a good job over there, playing almost the whole season last season, while KuPS won the league and cup double. So good experienced player from Veikkausliiga. He'll slot right in, I would imagine. But yeah, Toni Miettinen is a bit of a miss. Other than that, the squad is mostly pretty strong. My favorite inclusion by far is that Doni Arifi, my old mate from Ilves, who now plays for KuPS, is traveling with the squad, but he's not playing, so he's there just for the vibes. He's known to be quite a character in the dressing room and around the place. So I'm not surprised at all that they wanted to take him on board. And obviously, he's just a backup if somebody gets injured. Maybe they are a bit light in the midfield department, and for example, if Hyryläinen would be injured, then Arifi could take his place quite seamlessly. Maybe not quite at the level of Hyryläinen in terms of physicality and the ability to run, but Doni is a really good footballer with the ball, and now played at a really high level in the Veikkausliiga for the last couple of seasons, and in Europe as well last year with Ilves. So strong squad, and we, as I said earlier, I think we might be able to surprise a few. Maybe the one department that we lack a bit in is the center forward one. We don't really have designated center forward. Teemu Hytönen of Ilves is there. He's let's say a grafter, a good runner, a presser, moves a lot and can finish, but no, I wouldn't expect a whole lot from him. And anyways, Mika Lehkosuo has played with Nathan Skytta and Otso Liimatta as the double false nine, and those two are like 165 centimeters with a feather on their head. So that's a bit of a different approach, playing with two false nines and then wingers who like to get in behind. So that's the way we've gone about the attacking department, and I don't expect that to change just because we don't quite have the options for centre forward.
Nice one, thank you, Rade. I mean, as we said, there's some under-21 players at some great clubs, and there's also a sprinkling of Veikkausliiga, which leads us seamlessly into our last part of the show, where we're going to just have a quick review of the Veikkausliiga and where we're sitting with that, the domestic league in Finland. I'll just give you a quick rundown of how the table looks at the moment. We have Kups of Kuopio, who are sitting at the top of the perch, played 11, got 23 points. FC Inter Turku are sitting in second, played only 9, but with 21 points. So a couple of games in hand on the top spot there. Rade's team, Tampere Ilves, occupying third spot at the moment, played 10, 19 points. And then Ally's, poor old Ally, all the way down in, I mean, to be honest with you, fourth doesn't look too shabby at the minute, does it?
I'm taking it right now. I'm taking it right now.
That's it. Huuhkajat are in the top half of the table, occupying fourth spot. Yeah, with 17 points from 10. Producer Marks SJK are in fifth. Their local rivals Vepsu are in sixth, and then we go down FC Haka in seventh. Nistan in eighth with 11 points from 9. Mariehamn in 10th. Mariehamn in 9th. Yarrow in 10th. KTP in 11th. And right down the bottom, it's AC Oulu. So, chaps, what's been happening in the Veikkausliiga recently? It's Ilves are doing really, really well, Rasmus. Are you pleased with the way the season is going so far?
I wouldn't put that we are doing really well at all. To be frank, I think we are doing okay, but the expectations maybe went a bit up from the 3 wins in a row at the start of the season. But even in those performances, there were some signs of maybe trouble or just things that we need to improve on to perform better, because I was at was maybe second or third game of the season. We played KTP away and we won 5-0. It was a nice away day, but even in that match, we could have conceded a few. KTP had really good chances, 1-0, 2-0, and then they pressed us really well, but when they got tired, we could score a few goals running behind the line and playing guys through a few quite easy goals. That game looked, the result looked a whole lot better than our performances. That's just an example of Ilves' season. I think we play okay. In general, we are good at keeping the ball, controlling the game with the ball, defending at different heights. It's all of that is okay, but I think our troubles are in both boxes. When we get to the final third, way too often everything stops. We just can't penetrate low defending sides, and we have way too few shots in games. We need to shoot more and create more. We can create quality chances with our possession play. We can do that, but just not often enough. At this moment, I don't think. We lost so much quality from last season. We lost our 4 best players. Haarala left at the middle of the season after the Euro games. Pikkarainen, Arifi, and am I missing someone else? Maybe even Jorginho, our Portuguese left back from last season, left for the Czech league. So we lost our 4 best quality players. We replaced them with young, promising Finnish players mostly, but not that star type of quality. I don't see in our squad at this moment. We might need to strengthen in the summer. Because if we don't, I don't see us improving our pace of points, because we are right now at 2 points a game. We did the same last season, and I don't think that's going to get you the title this year. And I'm not expecting us to win the title, but we need to be in and around those the first 3 places.
Yeah, I mean it's I've just had a quick look through your results. I mean, you've had some crackers there. You mentioned the 5-0 away at Cortepe, and then there was not so long ago you had a 3-0 at home to Cooks, but followed that up with a 0-0 against bottom of the league Arce Oulu. So it has been a bit of a mixed bag. But yeah, I mean, I fully expect Ilves to.
Yeah, and then after the Arce Oulu game, I was at the Suomen Cup game against Gnistan, and we lost 3-0 in the cup. We had a strange lineup in the first half. Considering the lineup, it was okay, but in the second half, we conceded ridiculously soft goals from a defensive point of view, and that wasn't too good at all. It was really important that we could win the league match against Gnistan. That's often the case when you play the same team twice in a few days. The wins go to split more often than not. So yeah, I think we've done okay that we are here at this point in time. It could have gone worse. Against Arce Oulu, we should have won at home every day of the week. So that's a disappointing one.
Yeah, I think one thing on Ilves from like an outsider. I agree that Ilves have kind of done okay, because for me, they were the team to beat just in pre-season or sort of after last season. If there was going to be a team that I was afraid of, it wasn't Coops, it was actually Ilves. But I also think there's an element of teams like are treating Ilves as a really big game and a hard game, whereas last season I think Ilves had a little bit of an element of surprise about them, and so I think now that every team that is going to play Ilves, like, they're really up for it because they know it's going to be a really hard game, and so I think just as an outsider's point of view, I was expecting a bit more from them. This isn't a shots fired thing at all, because it comes purely from a place of admiration and respect for what they did last season. And as Rada has said, that, you know, losing that core group of players is going to hurt any team. But I still think that they have it in them to put a run together and finish quite strong. So yeah, hopefully not, but let's see.
Yeah, I think compared to Coops at the top of the table, they just have, I think, just more quality in their squad, just like reliable, proven quality, and they even can rotate their squad a bit and such. They have a very experienced coach in Jarkko Wiss, and I don't think they've changed a whole lot from their last season's success, maybe even improved on a couple of things. But yeah, Coops had a bad run, two losses and a draw now on the bounce against HJK away. Ali, I assume you were there, but I think I watched it a bit on my phone on a trip over the weekend. But I think at least the end of the match, it was quality football. The game was end to end, and I think Kups controlled it a bit more. Their experience and quality maybe showed a bit against quite a young HJK side this time around. Although HJK has the experienced quality guys as well, they play nowadays with a few young players from their own academy, and maybe that's the next thing we should talk about. HJK improving a lot, 5 games unbeaten now after the sacking of Toni Korkeakunnas, who went on to bigger things, maybe, at least in terms of the league. He went to the top flight in Norway, and Mika Nuutinen, his assistant coach, took over, and Klubi has done okay as of late.
After that really tricky start, sorry, Ali, I was just going to say, after that really tricky start, they've put some really good results together. I mean, it was sorry, but at your expense, it was, the rest of Finland was sort of like quite enjoying the tricky start that the Giants from the capital made, but But yeah, listen, fair play. They bounced back, haven't they? Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there was a match day where they were bottom, possibly even 2 match days when they were bottom, and yeah, I mean, I maybe looked at the table once and I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to look at the table now for a few weeks and wait till we've got a few more wins under our belt before I can actually see where Huuhkajat are in the table. Yeah, it has got, but look, a change needed to happen. I think Keke had done well in his 2 spells. The first one was obviously more successful than the second, though of course in the second he still qualified for Europe, which is a hugely successful thing to do for any Finnish team. So, but it was time for him to move on, and since that change, I mean it has got better. I was at the Coups game on Saturday. I do agree that Coups sort of had more control of the game. I think because they knew that Huuhkajat needed the win more. I mean, it's still early in the season, but I think if Huuhkajat had won that game, then the narrative around Huuhkajat sort of changes even more, and the positivity comes back even more. And yeah, the last 20 minutes were a bit more end to end. I think also because Coups maybe realized, oh, we don't even necessarily need just a draw here. We could get a win. But I think at this stage of the season, for Huuhkajat getting a point in that game, it's not great, but from where we were 6 weeks ago, I take it. The biggest thing for me then moving forward is still about scoring goals. I think, the last 2 seasons we've had, a prolific number 9, whether it's Lee Irwin or Radulovic. And of course, Pukki has come in to try to be that prolific number 9, and he will score goals in the Veikkausliiga, but he's, as we've discussed many times over the last couple of years, like he's not the player he was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I think even in the Veikkausliiga, sometimes his age does show. So I think that's something that if there is money available in the summer, that could they find someone else to maybe even to partner Pukki or just to take the load off him in every single game? I mean, is Leo board out in Montenegro or Macedonia or wherever it was that he ended up? I'm not sure. Because I think that's still my main concern. There's a lot of good players in the team, but I don't know if they have the firepower to win it this year.
Yeah, just play with wingers. You don't play with wingers at all at the moment. They're attacking midfield players mostly in Hostikka and Möller. Ring that's playing behind Pukki, and even the fullbacks aren't like extremely attacking. So a lot is on Pukki as at the moment to produce something in attack, and I think he's been playing at a high level so far. Maybe he took a bit of a time to get going in terms of goals, but he was a bit unlucky, I think, in a couple of matches not to score, and Huuhkajat wasn't playing well at all as a team. So I think he will still produce a quite a decent goal return in the Veikkausliiga. And he's going to get assists as well. He produced a lovely one for his mate Alex Ring for a looping header in a match recently. Don't remember which one now, but he scored 5 and assisted 3 so far after 10 matches. I'd say that's pretty decent, and I think he's going to keep on going at that sort of pace. And I'm expecting him to score at least 15 goals. 20 isn't out. It's in the realms of possibility. 20 for him, I think. So I don't think there's a concern over Pukki, but maybe just give him a bit more support in terms of like the wingers that could run. He has doesn't need to do all the running here because I think he's decent in playing coming out of the forward position as well. In the Veikkausliiga, he could be an assister at times. So if he has the wingers and pace surrounding him, that could be a bit better. I don't think HJK has yet used a whole lot of the new signing. Was it a Dutch fella called Benji Mitchell?
Yeah, he's been sort of left to substitute appearances here and there.
Strange for me.
Yeah. And is there an aspect of just trying to bed him into the team? But to be honest, I think if like what we were saying with the under 21 players earlier about if you're good enough, you're old enough, and I think it's the same with players like him. Why did they bring him in if he was just going to be a bench warmer? We've got plenty of bench warmers at HJK already. So yeah, I think he's maybe one to watch. But yeah, I think I like your positivity about Pukki because he is still going to score goals. But I think because of how HJK have started this season, they're playing catch up. So they really have to be almost perfect from here on in. I think away.
Yeah, but I don't think the margin is too big as of now. Klubi is 6 points behind Kups with the game in hand, so that's not too bad at all. They are still facing Kups once before the championship round, and then they will face Kups twice and everybody else as well. But yeah, there's so many games between the top sides to come because it's a bit of a different league system this time around that they play twice. The top six play each other twice at the end of the season. So one more game against everybody to improve your points tally. But yeah, Ali, I have a quick one for you. Are you aware of the absolute beast of a young striker that Klubi has in their ranks in Klubi 04 in the Ykkösliiga, one tier below, playing for the reserve team? Luke Rippon, and was an Australian fella.
Yeah. So I actually haven't seen much of him in the flesh. I think he might have played in the Liga Cup game that I was at earlier on in the season. But yeah, people are talking about him. Again,
Liam Rippon, yeah.
Liam, yeah. Like I think what HJK have been quite good at this season is giving the youngsters an opportunity. Whereas I think beforehand, of course, there's been a couple of youngsters coming through every single season, but have they really been trusted? That's debatable. But it does feel like this year that they have been given more of a chance and they've had more minutes than I think. I'm off the top of my head now, but I do feel like the average age of the team, even though, of course, Pukki and Ring and O'Shaughnessy are bringing it back up again. I think if you would take them out, that the team is probably a bit younger than it has been in previous years. So, I've seen a few minutes of him here and there, and people are talking about him. Whether he'll get an opportunity or not in this season remains to be seen.
Yeah, 196 centimeters tall, so almost 2 meters tall, and left-footed striker. So a rare profile. I think Toni Korkeakunnas might have commented on him in the preseason that he's a rare profile of a striker that can't be easily found in Finland. So he might have a chance to make his debut somewhere along this season.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, Ali, that you are looking forward. You're looking for a perfect season from HJK, and that's what they might need if they're going to get back to the top spot. But one team who's had almost a perfect season is Inter Turku, who are still unbeaten in the league. I mean, it's they've played 9 won 6 and drawn 3, garnered 21 points, and quietly going about their business. They've a few 1-0s in there, the odd draw, as I said, but yeah, I mean they're not smashing teams, but 1-0, 2-0. You know, they're picking up points and going about it the right way. So I think maybe Turku FC into Turku are one that we should keep an eye on going forward.
Yeah, they kept on a decent form after the League Cup win, which has often been a curse for the winning side at the start of the season. But yeah, Inter has gone on unbeaten, 6 wins and 3 draws from 9, and they still have 2 games in hand compared to KuPS. So they might even get the top spot when we're approaching the midsummer. There are a couple of games for them. They play Haka and KTP now, and after the short midsummer break they play Gnistan away. After that they play Mariehamn, and then again Haka, Jaro, KTP. They have a good run in the summer months. I think their first, like, a really tough. Gnistan is a tough game for them after the midsummer. But yeah, after that, a few feasible matches, and then they face Asiko in the end of July. So they have a good run. If they keep on going, they can well be contenders for the title after that start of the season. But I think the summer is going to be crucial for them in terms of transfers out. They can't lose their best players in, for example, Axel Kouame or Antoine Ezomba, maybe, or Christian Legbo. They can't lose those players. They're foreign star players. I think they're quite reliant on them, and let's face it, in Veikkausliiga everybody would be. But yeah, Kouame, for example, has been amazing. But yeah, if they were to lose him, it would have a big effect on them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep an eye on them, because I wouldn't be adverse to seeing FC into Turku go all the way and push some of the other teams who we might be a bit more familiar seeing up there. So yeah, good luck to them. But chaps, I think we're just about there. I mean, producer Mark will be a little bit upset that I haven't mentioned SJK. I mean, he likes to give us a full rundown about them, but I think maybe it'd be better off if we didn't, because I've just had a look at their recent results, and it's they did pick up a 3-2 win against Atlantis in the Suomen Cup, but apart from that, it's not been too much to write home about. So I don't know. Maybe we'll leave that for next time and see if they can pick up a couple of wins into the summer. But chaps, listen, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Sorry, Rasmus, did you want to mention SU Corp?
Yeah, maybe just briefly, the comments of the producer Mark, that they just maybe don't have the squad for playing this schedule, playing like twice in a week. Their squad is pretty tight and young, so maybe they are suffering a bit from that. No wins in 5 in the league, so they have to improve soon. But I think they will. They're such a side that they can bounce back quite easily.
Producer Mark there getting his excuses in via WhatsApp message, even when he isn't here. So cheers for that. But listen, chaps, absolutely banging to speak to you. Listen, good luck for all the teams, all the national teams that are playing for Finland across these next few days and weeks. And we will be back reviewing all of these games as and when they happen. But for tonight, Ali, kiitos.
Kiitos.
And Rade, kiitos.
Kiitos paljon, and maybe just one last note for Veikkausliiga to keep an eye on for the next episode. I think we might get the first sacking of a manager quite soon. It might happen in Kotka or Oulu, so there's something to keep an eye on for next time.
Indeed, watch this space. Listener, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you all again soon. Nähdään. Moi moi.
Moro.
You've been listening to the Finnish Football Show. You can find us online at finishfootballshow.com. Remember to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. You can follow the Finnish Football Show page and group on Facebook and also on Instagram. Escape to Suomi on Twitter is now Finnish Football Show on X. And you will find us on Blue Sky at Finnish Football Pod. See the links in the episode description, along with the links to the Finnish Football Show merch shirts.